Hello, and thank you for joining us in our podcast called The Growth Journey. This is the place where you will start your personal growth and development. I'm glad you're here. I'm your host, Cheryl Hart. We have a very exciting topic, and I think this will uplevel your knowledge about what's going on around the world with this in terms of technology that is created to us or around us. So, our topic for the next two episodes is about advancing your talent future work, part one and part two. So the part one is today, and the part two will release next week. Or if you are listening to a replay, the part two will be available in a separate episode. So take a look, or keep on the lookout on that. So let me give you a little bit of a background on how this come about. I am not sure if you are familiar with the World Economic Forum. This is where all the world's top leaders around the world would gather, where they will meet once a year, typically January of each year in Davos, Switzerland. This is where they will address the most pressing issues such as climate change, technologies, and the future, and also any pressing issue that we are facing in any country or any continent and in every region around the world. So also discussing the future work that we have right now. So after the event, they've released a report, a summary that they've called Towards a Reskilling Revolution Industry-Led Action for the Future Work. This is collaboration. This is in collaboration with Boston Consulting Group. When I was reading to it early this year, I thought, man, this is a really good information and it's really an eye-opening for me. And I think that more people should know about this. And I intend to share this information early this year as soon as I read it. But then earlier this year, I do not have a platform for me to share it with. So now I do. So I have this podcast. So I think it will be good to utilize this, what I've learned, and to share it with you as well. And also a few weeks ago, when I was part of launching our SaaS, SaaS stands for Software as a Service, a digital platform for global market access for companies in medical devices and IVD, which is in vitro diagnostic devices. And I have learned so much in that trade show. And I was in that. I have been working on with our team for the past 9 months this year of 2019. We've been working on this product to launch or before the launch. So I see a lot of this platform going around the world, especially in the healthcare industry. So as I see this platform can change the trajectory in the healthcare industry, and I knew we are part of something bigger and bigger that I could not imagine with this digital transformation. So going back to this report from the World Economic Forum that I was reading early this year, I thought this is going to be a perfect timing for me to share this with you all. So this episode is part one. So my intent is to laying out the groundwork for you, or laying down the foundation. What I meant is that I will refer majority of the information today from the report titled Towards a Reskilling Revolution for the Future Work. And you will, if you would like to get a copy of this report, I can put that in a text message in a summary of this podcast, or you can search in a website. Just type in the title and you can find it there too. So it's about 93 pages. So feel free to, once you get the report, feel free to study it yourself and you can get the full details. Okay? So let me get started first to illustrate with you that there are four types of industrial revolution in the workplace. So they are the first revolution, the first industrial revolution, the second is the second industrial revolution, the third industrial revolution, and the fourth industrial revolution. So let me explain this four for you. So the first industrial revolution says that this is when the time when we've used water and steam power to mechanize our production. So the second industrial revolution is when we start using electric power to create mass production. And then the third industrial revolution is when the time when we start to use electronics and information technology to automate production. And the fourth one is, of course, the fourth industrial revolution is where we continue on to progress and improve our technology from the third industrial revolution. Okay? So can you guess which industrial revolution we are in today, in our today's generation? So if you say the fourth industrial revolution, you are correct. So in the fourth industrial revolution, which is what we are in today, where billions of people around the world are now connected by mobile devices with so much power and storage capacity with this little tiny phone, and we can easily access to information and knowledge right in our fingertips, right? So there are numerous emerging technology breakthroughs that we thought is only possible in the movies before, such as the artificial intelligence, the Internet of Things that you may have heard many times, the autonomous vehicles, self-driverless vehicle, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and robotics. So there are some deeper developed countries who can now perform surgery. If you heard that before, that there are some developed countries that they use robotics to perform the surgery. So imagine that, performing surgery using robotics, not with the actual surgeon. So the tech surgeon will still be around in the emergency room to ensure that the surgical robot is working properly, right? So we still need those surgical, but there's some tasks that robotics can do. And as far as the 3D printing, you probably have seen this before, have heard this before. So 3D printing, there are many products now that can create or produce by 3D printing machine. In fact, there are some kids who are now able to create their own toys using this machine. And some are doing this as a business at a very young age. In the future, or perhaps it is already accessible now, it will produce a human organs for transplant to 3D printing, such as the heart, a liver, and I think there's many more that they are creating right now. So there's so much more that we can do now in a 3D printing. So let's move on to the workplace, to our workplace, and how these changes affect every industries and in every companies around the world. In the World of Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report in 2018, there is an expectations across all industry with regards to a big decline in the numbers of specific jobs, just such as jobs like a secretary, administrative jobs, assistants, team assemblers, tellers, and cashiers. So one of the reasons of, or pretty much the main reason of the decline in this said work is the automation with the use of technology to do this specific task. So let's take, for example, the cashier, right? In well-developed countries such as US, Europe, UK, and some parts of Asia, you may have used what we call the self-checkout, right? You can scan your items and pay and you're good to go. Self-checkouts are everywhere. A more advanced one is when a few years ago, Amazon debuted a cashierless checkout on their brick and mortar shopping store, and it's called Amazon Go Store, where the customer would scan a barcode as they walk in and select their items, and they are automatically charged when they walk out of the store. So the intent of that is to streamline the experience of their customers. So with these innovations around us, we need to adapt and think in a way how we can upgrade our skills with this technology in a digital world. So it has been said that employees will have to update their skill set to adapt to the needs that are being created today. And will need to do so due to constant change of methods and objectives of the businesses. And it requires a flexible and adaptable workforce in terms of skill set, which can only be provided by, let's say, creating a culture and setting up a mechanism of lifelong learning upskilling. Okay, so with that being said, since day one, think about it. Since day one that we are running our podcast, The Growth Journey, I always encourage you to be a lifelong learners because of it and have a beginner's mindset. Why? Because our world today are constantly changing. In fact, I was having a conversation with one of our consultants who are working closely with customers, and he found out that companies are now looking so much about, they're not looking so much about 5 years down the road. They are now looking for 2 to 3 years and not 5 years strategy. It is because the speed of the change around us using digital technologies, it may not be sufficient in the next 5 years because there is always a new one coming. Sometimes it's hard to keep up, right? Some businesses, true or not, some businesses it's hard for them to keep up with all this technology. It is because this is what we're going to talk about today, why it is. What is the lacking? What's the gap? Okay. In today's Reskilling Revolution report, it says that, so here are the technologies that is available today. So if you work in IT or any job related in technology, you are probably familiar with these 5 things. Okay. So the first one is user and entity big data and analytics. The second one is Internet of Things. The third one is app and web enabled markets. The fourth one is machine learning, and the fifth one is cloud computing. So here are the top related jobs that are on the rise or on demand right now. So if you are looking for something specific in technology, where you wanted to go and where you wanted to grow in a career, so these are the top 5 that you can go to or learn about in a related on this technology, because this is going to be rising right now. Actually, it's rising right now and prepare you for the future. Okay, so the top 5 are software developers and applications. So if you know how to develop software and apps, that's the number 1. Number 2 is database administrators. Number 3 is software systems engineers or an architect too. So you have computer systems engineers and computer systems architects. So that's number 4. Number 5 is computer and information research and analysis. Okay. I also would like to add, based on my experience in the healthcare industry specific, and I would like to add another one that you can look up to that really on demand right now. Is anything revolves around cybersecurity in any industries, because security threat, whether consumer information or medical patients information, can be hacked, and there are shortages. There's really shortage of people who knows about cybersecurity. So with everything that we put out there, especially with sensitive information about us, we need to protect, right? So if you are interested in cybersecurity, feel free to check it out and see if this is something that can help you out to up-level your skills in the workplace, especially in technology. So you are in demand right now, cybersecurity. Okay, so in towards a Reskilling Revolution report, it is also outlined the skills employers consider that are most important today, as well as skills expected to trending or declining by 2022. So here are the skills that employers are looking for and the most important today until 2022. Okay, so in digital skills like technology, design and programming and system analysis and evaluation are on the rise. On the other hand, human skills is also on the rise, such as creativity, originality and initiative, critical thinking and analysis, leadership, and emotional intelligence, as they are not expected to be automated in the near future. And the skills that are declining, okay, taken out of this, skills that are declining, among the top declining skills are physical skills such as labor, the manual labor, endurance and precision, which may soon be easily conducted by robots or robotic support system. And I would like to add that too, that anything that logical, anything that you can put it out in a platform like such as something that spreadsheets can do, very logic, you can automate those. So anything that That's why cashier, assistant, and team assemblers are very automated. So you can perform that with technology. So look it up. So take a look. What are you doing right now? What kind of skill set that you are doing right now in your workplace? And take a look and see something that that this is something automate can be automated. If it is something that can be automated, may wanna think about upskilling your skill set and up level that. Okay, and this is what we're gonna talk about throughout these episodes and also the part two episodes. Okay, and let's see. So now let's take a look about on this business side. So on the business side, companies are aware that they need to keep up with technology, and they know a lot of them or majority of them are not prepared for it. So according to the report, the business case for a reskilling revolution in the workplace, it says that the major challenge, the major challenges in the business is when up leveling the and reskilling, that there is currently very limited reliable information available about the business case and the return on investment for this effort. So the lack of clarity on where and how much to invest also creates a similar challenges for employees, so who don't know how much to invest to themselves. So I guess not knowing if reskilling their employee in the workplace is, they give them a much of a return, or even the employees is how much they will invest in themselves. So to those of you who have run your businesses, or if you have had experiences on the strategy, planning and decision making process of the business, either in your workplace, you are always looking out on the long-term perspective on the return on investment for your company and for your employees. I do believe there is no different when we are trying to look out for our own investment and to uplevel our skills, talents, and gifts. I always advocate on continuous learning and invest in your own personal growth and development. As companies looking at the data, if reskilling their employees makes sense to them to do so, there are some things that data won't be able to calculate. So if what you invest into yourself is worth it or not. Because there are times you have to listen to your own voice, and sometimes your gut feeling within you if it is truly a good investment. So here's what I know. What I have learned about investing. There will be some trade-offs, right? There will be some trade-offs and sacrifices that you have to do, either money or your time. So there will be trade-offs, and the bigger the trade-offs, the bigger the return. On my premium podcast episode, I teach or taught about the law of the trade-offs to help you to figure out if those trade-offs are worth it or not. So feel free to check it out in a premium podcast episode to learn more about trade-offs. So back to the towards of a reskilling revolution report, they provide an example of companies who are putting in an investment for their employees to help them upskilling or reskilling. Okay, so majority of the companies made the decision, instead of replacing their employees, they retrain their current employees. So this way, in due time, they will save the company the cost and the time. Not to mention, it will build morale and culture of the company and its employee. So I picked out about 4 examples of companies who decided to invest on upskilling their employees, and I will read them to you from the report. Okay, so the first one is Lloyds Banking Groups, in a UK financial services provider. So in 2018, the bank conducted a strategy workforce planning exercise to identify the roles and skills that will be required in the future. And it concluded that the majority of the group's employees would require new skills over the next 3 years. It identified about 10 skills that will be particularly important, including new skills such as, listen to this, such as agile project management and artificial intelligence, alongside more traditional customer service, relationship management, and leadership skills. As part of this new strategy, the group has made a public commitment to deliver an additional 4.4 million hours of learning and development for employees to help build their skills over 3 years, which will be delivered through a range of group-wide and divisional initiatives. So think about it. The company Lloyd Bank, financial services provider in the UK, they actually going in it. They are investing to the growth plan to their employee, and that's a really a good indicator that they think about their employees, right? And we'll discuss more about that in a minute. So, in 2018, the group launched new online learning hubs, new role-specific development programs, and new capability-led graduate and apprenticeship programs. Alongside these initiatives, the group has also launched a campaign to encourage employees to learn based around 4 common reasons why employees choose to develop. So change, curiosity, challenge, and career. Number 2, L'Oreal, which is well known for their cosmetic products. Ladies, we bought those products too. So L'Oreal, they actually put up an enabling leadership to create a digital strategy and prepare the workforce for the future. So this is what they did. So L'Oreal noticed that the company and the workforce needed to grow to be ready for the digital age. And with this in mind, created a leadership development program. The goal of this program is to provide executives with the knowledge and attitude to prepare L'Oreal for the future changes. So the top 1,000 executives that they took part in a range of events aimed at empowering them to develop digital roadmaps for their offices and regions and to create more open, innovative, agile culture that their office and workforce need to have to execute the strategy. So furthermore, the 14,000 employees have completed an upskilling program consisting of online lessons and workshops developed in collaboration with General Assembly. These learnings include skills such as search engine automation, digital media allocation, and digital analytics in order to design a baseline of digital knowledge for every employee. To stimulate employees to participate in the program, the company employs a variety of tactics, including gamification, incentives, and executive communication. So that's what they did. Now, this interesting one for Walmart. A lot of us here in the US, we know Walmart's the big retail stores around the area. So Walmart Grand Scale Upscaling Initiative. So this is what they did. In 2016, Walmart launched the Walmart Academy program in the US as a dedicated training program utilizing the sales floor to train associates in areas that include advanced retail skills, leadership, and change management in 2 years. The US program has grown to encompass salaried managers and market level positions, bringing additional training programs in-house and influencing other areas of the business and how they are trained their associate. So listen to this as I read through it, how they train the associate. This is what they've done. So introducing the use of new technologies as part of the training program. So using smart tablets instead of textbooks, using virtual reality in training modules, having virtual simulation games as part of the process. So Walmart has succeeded in making its academies a very attractive options for employees. By the end of 2018, more than 720,000 US associates had already gone through an academy program. Isn't it fascinating how they created something that how they train their people using smart tablets instead of textbook, using virtual reality training modules or stimulation games as part of the training program for their sales associates. So it's pretty cool to see that a lot of these big companies are looking in creative way how they will train their people, because they knew that they need to upscaling that they need to reskill their current employee. So the fourth one is Procter and Gamble or P&G and Google set up an employee exchange program. This is really cool. So listen to this. So in early 2008, P&G, an American multinational consumer goods corporation and the technology company named Google, started swapping talented employees to create a more creative and innovative workplace where employees can take part in the other companies' training programs and establish mutual beneficial relationships in the first year. So 24 employees from the two companies participated in a partners, curricula, and business meetings, offering new methods, creative ideas, and out-of-the-box thinking. So P&G's primary goal is to improve the employees' digital skills. This program could provide the big consumer company with the knowledge and experience it needs to intensify its internet and marketing initiative. This is why P&G swap with Google so their employee can learn something from Google in a digital marketing initiative and get them experience on the how the internet works and all that. Okay, as for Google, on the other hand, the focus is on better understanding fast-moving consumer goods company in general, becoming better business partners and reaping the potential benefits if P&G increases its internet marketing expenditures. So that's what they did. So they swap their top talented employees and test it out. Some send it to Google and some they send it to P&G and swap it up and share best practices and how they operate their stuff. Okay, so that's a pretty good kind of, you see, there are some creative ways that companies can do to help reskilling the employees, such as you can heard, swapping talented employees to create more creative and innovative workforce like what P&G and Google does. All of these examples of great companies who decided to invest into their employees to retain them. And I hope you are working with a similar types of company like this who are advocates a good growth environment. Unfortunately, there are some companies are not like that, not like them. You probably have worked with companies before or who do not have this good growth environment culture. Either they don't think it is necessary or perhaps they have never thought of the importance of it, right? So in the report, it also says that the benefits of upskilling are not always clear to employees, making them skeptical about sacrificing time for learning activities. In some companies and even some industries, continuous learning is not part of their culture. And in some teams, it generally does not take place at all unless necessary for safety or licensing reasons, right? It has also been said that companies need to face this challenge head on by designing effective and attractive upskilling programs with minimal barriers to entry for employees. This goal may be achieved by utilizing innovative and engaging training practices. So the thing is, companies do not need to start big. As you can see, any companies can start in a small scale. Even just 5-minute training lessons, they can start with that and see how it is and how employees can receptive to it. And I do believe that employees would like to learn and to grow. And they sometimes do not know where to start anyway, and if their boss or manager will support them on this initiative. So if you are leading a team or if you have a direct reports, make it a number one priority that each of your team members are growing and learning new skills. Everything starts from the leader, starts within you, from you. Your support and encouragement is what they are looking for. So this is what reminds me of one of my favorite quote from Zig Ziglar that says, "You don't build a business, you build people, and people build a business." So look after your direct reports if you have one or two or many. They are the true assets of the business and the company. So the growth of your company is based on the growth of your people. The company or any businesses will only grow when the people is growing, when the people in it is growing. If they don't grow, then the business will suffer. On the other hand, what if you have employee who do not like change or who do not want to grow, right? When we do have those types of people, and it's not that they don't like change, it is sometimes or more than likely that they have had bad experiences when there is some changes going on in the workplace, such as commonly change is new manager coming into the team. So to those of us who have been well experienced in a workplace, when there is a new manager or a new leader, there will be some changes, or shall we say restructure, going on to the team and for the company. So expect that changes will come, and there are some people who have had bad feelings or negative experiences about this change. The unknown is what scared people too. They scared them off, and when it accompanied with this, with change and with the negative experiences through that change, then you will find that people will have a negative reactions on this, when you're promoting something or some big change or development that includes them. So if you are a leader or a manager who have direct reports and you are trying to help them to up level their skills, so do these two things. You probably have done this before, but just a reminder to those who have not, maybe start with these two things. So first, share with them the company's vision and mission and where you are going or heading, and share to them the big picture and the importance of up leveling their skills. And share with them, if they don't up level their skills, the business will suffer, and truly state that the only way the business will grow is if your employee will grow. This is why Zig Ziglar have said, you don't grow the business, you build people, and people will build the business, right? It's always true. The second part is, when you do explain it to them, to your employee, the reasons why it is important for them to uplevel their skills, make sure that when explaining it, make it about them. And here's why. There are times people are selfish, okay? They only think about themselves sometimes, which is true. We are human. And as they listen to you, in their mind, they will ask, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? So what is about them? This is what we call the power of connecting. So connect with them in a way that they will feel that they were understood and they were heard. When they ask you a question, and they will, tell them the truth and don't tiptoe it. So when you make it about them, you will be surprised to know that many people actually would like to grow and to learn and to up-level their skill set. They just need a little courage, motivation, inspiration to do it. So when you communicate to them in a way that they feel they were understood, then they will do it without questions. You just have to learn how to connect with them, not just communicate, but connect with them, okay? So the business will flourish when we invest heavily on our people, not just in technology, because they are still your greatest assets. Okay, so on this advancing your talent future work, part 1 is to lay out the foundation for you, to give you a high level overview of the 4th industrial revolutions, to provide you an example of all of these well-established companies and what are the steps that these companies are doing to help reskilling or upleveling their employees. I have also shared some of the in-demand jobs related specific in if you are thinking about switching your career or looking out a career in technology. Feel free to get those if something that interests you or something that you really wanted to do. And don't forget the cybersecurity part of it too. So if you are a leader or a manager who have direct reports, connect with your team members and share with them the importance of their growth and the importance of when they are growing, the business will grow, right? If they don't grow, the business will stay where it is, or worse, the business will suffer. Also, take a look and see if your current company is ready with this change in digital transformation. If you think your company do not have any plans or to reskilling or up-leveling their employees, it would probably be best to start talking to them right now about it and start plan things out, being part of the team, part of the transformation. and bringing up your ideas. How we can retrain our people? How can we be more tech savvy or digital savvy in this world, in this new era right now that we have? So if you think this podcast episode is worth sharing to them, feel free to share so they can learn from it too. Okay? So in summary or in closing for this, on the next episode on advancing your talent future work part 2, I will focus more on how you can uplevel your own skills. So this way you can take charge and take ownership on your own, so you don't have to wait for anyone to do it for you. I will focus more on the human skills, such as the creativity aspect of it. You heard in the report as well, leadership skills, right? Leadership, emotional intelligence, or as we all know, EQ, and many more, since this cannot be automated. Well, right now, at least right now, cannot be automated, because we still need human being to be creative, to lead on, and also the emotional intelligence aspect of it. Okay? So with that, in closing, just a few reminders. If this is your first time tuning in into our podcast, thank you, and I welcome you. And if you feel if this is the first time you're listening to it, feel free to subscribe so you will get notification on the future episode on the podcast. And we always release a new episode every Sundays. So once you subscribe, it will automatically deliver to your to your app. So, and also if you think that this podcast is some way that help you and in many ways, so feel free to share it with your friends, family, colleagues, or neighbors, or people you just met, whoever. Feel free to share this podcast so they too can learn from you. Okay, no matter how old they are, or experienced, or young they are, everyone needs to grow and have plenty of rooms to grow. And as we discussed earlier, that we need to be a lifelong learners and have a beginner's mindset. And that is our goal here today, or here in our podcast. The entire goal is to keep growing, keep exploring, right? And one of those is here in a digital area. We need to keep exploring in that area. Okay, so if you would like to start investing in your own personal growth and take this complimentary podcast episode to the next level, and to help you to become more and to be more, take that next step and join my membership program. So as a trainer, coach, and mentor, I am opening up the opportunity for you all to join my membership club. All our deeper dive teaching will be available on those premium episodes, and only available in a padbean.com. So I'll provide the link to the text here, and for additional information you can look it up that way as well. Okay, so with that, you can also send me an email. My email address is share@shareiheart.com. Feel free to send me an email, say hi, hello, or if you have something in mind that you would like me to discuss or create a podcast of a topic, feel free to do so. I welcome those as well. So with that, always remember, if you don't invest in your own personal growth, no one will. Take care and be well.